Imagine a society where conflict doesn't exist, a place where everyone thinks the same way, where opinions and laws are unnecessary because no one disagrees. A society where people don't ask questions because everything is already clear, where everyone simply does what they're supposed to do without hesitation or doubt. This could be an idealized version of what some might call absolute peace. When I think of absolute peace, or a perfect society, my mind often wanders to ants or bees. These creatures seem to live in harmony with their purpose. I don't know if they experience inner conflicts, but on the surface they appear to fulfill their roles without question or resistance. The queen leads and the workers dedicate themselves to serving her. There's no rebellion, no hesitation, just unbroken order. But for humans, things aren't so simple. Unlike ants or bees, we possess individuality, autonomy, and, as I mentioned in a previous video, personal laws. Each of us has our own internal set of rules and values. This makes the idea of absolute peace far more complicated for us because, even in societies with established laws, those laws are finite. They cannot possibly cover every nuance of human behavior. There will always be issues where opinions diverge, where some people agree and others don't. This brings me to why I believe that the concept of absolute peace is not only unattainable, but also inherently utopian. There are at least three significant obstacles to achieving such a state. The limitations of laws. Laws, by their very nature, are finite. Even if we were to attempt to create rules for every possible scenario, there would still be situations that fall through the cracks. Humanity's diversity guarantees that no single set of rules could account for every moral or ethical dilemma. Some questions will always divide us, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant they might be. Human differences. By our very nature, we are all different. These differences are not just cultural or behavioral, they are biological. From physical characteristics to emotional tendencies, our diversity sparks inevitable questions. Why are we different? Why should one way of being be valued over another? These differences fuel our individuality and make it nearly impossible to achieve a homogeneous society. Geographic and regional barriers. Even if groups of people with similar values and ways of thinking existed, they would still be spread across different regions of the world. Language, geography, and cultural traditions create barriers that prevent uniformity. For absolute peace to exist, we would need to reorganize the world entirely, grouping people by shared ideologies, values, and beliefs. But even then, could such groups truly remain conflict-free forever? Throughout history, there have been figures who sought to impose their vision of absolute peace. These were often authoritarian leaders who believed the fastest way to achieve harmony was through brute force, censorship, oppression, and the elimination of dissent. For them, peace meant submission. It meant silencing any voices that questioned their regime or their version of truth. Yet there's another school of thought, utopian ideals that imagine a gradual, almost imperceptible transition toward peace. In these visions, peace wouldn't be imposed by force, but would emerge over centuries or even millennia. Over time, people would align in thought and behavior until a point where laws would no longer be necessary. In this imagined future, humanity would coexist without conflict because a single universal truth would prevail, leaving no room for questions or disagreements. The pursuit of absolute peace raises uncomfortable questions about the trade-offs involved. To eliminate conflict entirely, would we need to eliminate individuality? Would we have to suppress our ability to question, to dissent, to imagine alternatives? A world without questions might be orderly, but it would also be stagnant. A world without diversity of thought might be conflict-free, but it would also lack creativity, innovation, and growth.